Welcome, welcome, welcome to a special Let's Chat on focusing on heightening your celebrations and lessening your sorrows through a positive focus. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive impact coach, peace activator, and global hugger. And I'm excited to have some friends joining me today. And in a few moments, I'm going to have them introduce yourself. And we are going to focus on the power of compassion today. But before we get started, please join in comments and let us know where you're joining from. I am actually usually in Chicago. That's where I live, but I am at a friend's home for the weekend in Michigan right now. So I am out of town, but Chicago always has my heart. So the ladies joining will share where they're joining us from, and they cannot see your comments, but if you ask any questions to them or myself, I will make sure to share it with them. But in case you're new and have not experienced my work before, I wanted to set a couple of ground rules because I think sometimes people get into the always and never. That's not me. I have done things that I have said I would never do. So I tend to say I can't imagine ever doing that, or the majority of times I do that. I've been coaching kindness for many years now, and people will say, I'm always kind. And like, I'm not always kind, and I make it a daily practice. Usually, my unkindness is geared towards myself, and usually, my unkindness comes in thoughts more than words or actions because I'm very conscious of the power of words. So I don't tend to say unkind things, and rarely do I have an unkind action, possibly towards myself more than anything. But that's something to think about. I live on a scale of 0 to 100. 0 being always unkind, always uncompassionate, unloving, chaos. And the 100s being always loving, always kind, always compassionate, always peaceful. Personally, don't know of a human being who is at the 100. I'm sure there are people who are like the 95, 96, 97, 98. I try to live in the 80 to 100 range the majority of the time. And that's kind of what I work on with coaching clients as well. I would say probably from 40 to 90-ish, maybe 80 is where most of my clients. I think if you're under a 40, 0 to 40 person, you probably don't resonate with me. So that is good. But when I work with a particular word here, I usually like to give the definition, and I've chosen Merriam-Webster's definition. So compassion, sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. Now, before I introduce my friends here, we're here specifically on compassion, and all of us here are big friends and fans of Sunny Dawn Johnston. As you know, I've allowed her to do her afternoon chats on Positive Focus for quite some time now, so you're probably familiar with her anyway. But she's just created a new oracle, multi-dimensional oracle deck. And one of the cards is, can you see it here? Let's see if
that way a little bit.
Yep. It's always trying to find the camera. It's like, Carol, the camera's right there on top of your computer. So today's card is compassion, and it's Kuan Yin, and she is the goddess of compassion, kindness, and mercy. So Sunny, when she created this deck, and the people who are joining her and helping her launch it, she picked a card for each person, and she picked compassion for me. So we're talking about that. I'm actually going to ask these ladies what card they were given by her as well. And so Mabel is joining us. I hope I say people's names right. Mabel, Costa Rica. I so much want to come to Costa Rica. So beautiful. Jackie, Tracy's in Minnesota. Oh, Jackie's in the Philippines. Tracy's in Minnesota. Watching from Ontario. It's a Facebook user, so she must be part of my Embrace Your Life community. For whatever reason, StreamYard does not show you names in communities. And Annie is joining us from Massachusetts. So ladies, welcome. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday. Introduce yourselves. You can share whatever you want people in this Positive Focus community to know about you. But if you could let them know where you're joining us from, that would be great. So Shauna, do you want to get started?
Sure, yeah. Hi, my name is Shauna Fisher, and I am coming to you from Vancouver, Washington. So there's a Vancouver, Washington, and a Vancouver, Canada. How cool is that, right? So, and the work I do in the world is I do work with animals, with animal communication. So, gosh, animals are so good at reminding us about compassion. They are so amazing at that. So, yeah.
they are pure compassion. It's just,
Mhm.
oh.
Yes.
So, Danny, before you get started, Nicole is was going to join us, and she's just said that she's backstage. So, Danny, while you start talking, I this is the first time I've had multiple people on. I have no idea how to bring Nicole forward, but I'm going to see if I can figure it out. But Nicole, I see your comment, so stay tuned. I'm going to try to pull you into the conversation. Go ahead, Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny Fierro. I'm in Peoria, Arizona. I'm a transformational coach, motivational speaker, and author. My main focus in my work is self-love and self-acceptance. Goes right along with compassion because a part of self-love is having compassion towards yourself. And in doing that, you're able to have compassion for others.
Very much so. Shauna or Danny, you said you've had other people in before. Do you know how to get them in from the? It's not showing me the
Should
back
be
room.
add to
So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Danny.
No, there you go. Oh no, you changed it. So usually with the three dots, it should allow you to add them in within their.
Her picture isn't showing up here, so I see the three of you
Oh,
below, but I'm not. So she says she's in the like it's apparently not showing me backstage, and I'm afraid to go there
Mhm.
and knock us all off. But let's continue. Nicole, I'm going to do my best to get you on, so keep here. Please join us in comments. Nicole, right now in comments, let us know where you're joining us from and a little bit about you, because I definitely wanted you part of the conversation. And for people who are joining us, I had a bad link that I sent to the ladies earlier, sent this link like 10 minutes before we went live. So that's what's going on here. How do you prepare yourself to tell someone something sensitive when you know the person has no compassion and she responds with anger? I have to tell her. That is a question, ladies, that we have right now. It's from a Facebook user, so I'm not sure who. Um, so the question again is, how do you prepare yourself to tell someone something sensitive when you know the person has no compassion and she responds with anger?
I
You,
think. Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I think because I've been in that situation, that if you got to go in understanding that no matter how you come, they may respond with anger because that's where they are coming from. That's where they're at. Um, So all you can do is provide the information as lovingly as possible and just be okay knowing that you're giving them that information and they may or may not take it. And so you've got to just be okay with that, unfortunately. You can't force anything on anybody because you can't control anybody but yourself. So as long as you're coming from a place of love and you're providing that information, in the most loving manner. And I would practice and you can even have someone else help you with it to make sure that you're not coming across offensive, especially when you have that type of relationship with somebody. I can tell you with a family member, it could get rough and she would trigger me. And so, because I would be triggered, if I had a certain communication, it may come across wrong. It wouldn't come across the way I wanted it because would get emotionally triggered. So I would either talk it out, practice it, and then go with it, or I would practice with somebody else. And so that's what kind of helped me with that. But no matter what, I had to be okay with if they took it or not, or accepted it or not. So
Awesome. Shauna, how about you?
Yeah, that's so good, Danny. Such good feedback. I think what can really help in those situations is you really kind of tune in before, like tune within, maybe place your hand on your heart and just, do some breathing and mindfulness practice and maybe even write out kind of some of your thoughts. So then you kind of have it in your mind, just to like have that clear pathway to say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to come from this with love. And yeah, I feel like that could really help as well. Yeah.
And before I introduce Nikki, I'll just answer. For me, it's also, as Danny said, we can't control what other people think or say. So if you're honoring yourself and standing in your truth, they may not like it. And some of
Mm.
the words I may use may they may see as unkind, but if you're coming from and you know that your heart is saying it that way, and for me, it also, I may not even have that conversation with the person. If I know they're going to be angry, so they're not going to listen. For like when I think of when somebody's yelling at me and they're angry, I have shut down and I've gone into self defense mode. I'm not listening to what they're saying. And it may be something I need to hear, but because they're telling me in a way that it might be hurtful because they're in a hurt space, I've shut down. I have not heard a word that they've said. So sometimes I'll take it inward. I will write it out. Maybe I'll write, if I'm angry with them, maybe I'll even write an angry letter to them, not send it, shred it, and then write something that's productive and then decide, do I truly need to say this to them? Because I can work it out energetically with them too. And if I think it's going to cause more harm, it's that decision on, does this really need to be said? Does it really need to be said right now? And does it need to be said by me? So sometimes we feel like expressing it is almost making us right rather than being okay with it just being uncomfortable. It's a tough call. It is a tough call, and it's a personal, and that's where I go with there's not an always or never situation.
Oh.
It's you kind of have to think for yourself, what's the best outcome of this conversation? And you're not going to know it exactly because you don't know how they're going to respond. They may totally understand you, and it may be an amazing conversation. It may cause a bigger rift. So you have to decide for yourself what's the best outcome of it. And Nikki, thank you for joining us. I apologize for the last minute change. I was
No
telling the
problem.
ladies before we went live, once I logged on, it said that I had scheduled this for the 20th and not the 22nd. So that link wasn't going to work anymore. So Nikki, let us know where you're joining us from and a little bit about yourself. You can share what you're up to or where you're joining us from. It does not matter.
I'm from Montreal, and I'm kind of new to Sunny's community. I joined, I think it was in November, and it was by coincidence. And I was listening to an interview she had, and I joined her community. And since then, I'm kind of hooked to her teachings.
As we all are.
Yeah.
I think we cannot distance ourselves from what she teaches once we start listening. And about the subject, I mean, compassion, it's because it's my word for the year. So this is the word I chose for the year because I always had a lot of compassion for others, but never for myself. So I'm learning this year to have compassion for myself. So
Nikki, what does self-compassion mean to you? How does that show up?
I've never had it before. So I am really trying to learn now. And I'm trying to learn it by looking at the situation from a different perspective, like putting myself into a different situation. I can give you a very, very simple example that showed up to me like just few days ago. Like, for example, I saw this situation. Let's say a child that his mother drive him to school for the first day of school. The child is there crying. He doesn't want to stay there. He feels so upset. He's crying. He feels rejected, abandoned by his parents. But his parents are like doing the best for the kid. But like, if I'm like the old person I am now, I would say how stupid he is. They are doing the best for him. It's so stupid to be that upset. But now, having compassion for myself, I'm saying like, of course, in the state of mind you are, of course you will feel this way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling the feeling like this child is having. And I'm in whatever situation I'm going through now, I'm accepting the feeling that I'm having. Like, yeah, I understand why you're feeling this way. And after accepting why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, then I can get out of it and try to see what I have to learn from it.
That's beautiful. And Tracy, one of our comments, and Tracy, your comment is exactly what I was thinking about when I was talking about writing an unsent letter. She's like, I love that. I have a boss that is a narcissist. The idea of writing an unsent letter is a great way to release their negative vibes. And that's absolutely, if you're dealing with a narcissist, they're not going to hear you. They are actually unable to hear you because they're all about themselves. So when you have a situation like that, it's about getting it out of your body that need to be heard, and so you could do it in ways because they're unable to hear you. So do it in ways that it's going to honor you and not create a bigger rift by them thinking that you're attacking them, which is what a narcissist is going to come from. So again, keep asking questions, and I am happy to share it with the ladies. I've come up with a few questions myself for them. And so we will go into that as well. So let me see my question. So I gave the Merriam-Webster's definition of compassion. How would you each define compassion? Danny, you're to my right. I'll start with you.
For me, it's being able to show love and understanding to others, and right where they're at, because they may not be in the same place in their journey as you are. They may not love themselves as much as you, or they may be having a whole lot of other stuff going on in their life. And so it's about loving, sending them love and compassion and understanding for them right where they're at.
Wonderful.
That's how I define compassion.
I love it. Shauna?
Wow, such a good question. I love that. So to me, compassion, it envelops so much, right? It's really about honoring where you're at and honoring where other people are, right? And really just having, respect and understanding and not judgment for that, right? And self-love for yourself and love for others, right? And just that mutualness is the word that comes to mind for me. So yeah, that's how I would define it.
Thank you. I love that too. How about you, Nikki?
For me, I don't think I had the right definition before, because for me, having compassion for me was like feeling others' feelings and taking their pain myself. Like for me, having compassion was like, I'll take your pain for you, I'll have it so that you don't. And now I'm learning that this is not compassion. I'm not helping them by taking their pain on. And for me, having compassion was like never having the others be accountable for anything they do. Oh, you've done nothing wrong. No one has done anything wrong. It's like everybody's perfect but me. It was always, you're all perfect but me. But now I'm learning that compassion is it's seeing the person as they are, and all perfect, like their soul is perfect. They can have behavior that's wrong, but I can love them even if their behavior is wrong. And this is compassion. It's loving them despite everything and anything.
I love that because I think it's really easy. I say this on other Facebook Lives. It's super easy to be kind to kind people and compassionate to compassionate people. And the work for me is really, it's when unkindness shows up at your doorstep or people who are coming from such hurt that they are hurting others. And can you have compassion for them? And I have to say, I absolutely can. And sometimes when like a new news story comes out of a horrific situation, I may not step into compassion right away. I may go into how dare they do that and hurt all these people. And then I can go into what was their life like or is like that created that environment. There's still consequences to face if they've done something like that, but I can see it from their hurt perspective rather than adding more fuel to that unkind fire that's already going. So I think having compassion for people who are hurting. That's when it's the most necessary. And before you joined, Nikki, actually we weren't live yet. I was telling the ladies one of my favorite mentors. His name is Brian Stevenson, and he does work. He's a black lawyer, and he does a lot of work in the jail system about injustice in the black community. And he was talking about he has met people of all sorts in jail, some who shouldn't be there, and some who have done such heinous acts that they absolutely need to be there. But when he's heard their backstory of what brought them to that heinous act, he can still have mercy for them. He's not trying to get them out of jail and put them back into society because they've gone through too much to have that, but he can still have mercy. So I think having compassion doesn't mean you agree or allow or accept the situation, but you can find like how would I have been had I been in their shoes through their entire life up to today. Like, it's easy to say from where I'm sitting right now, there's no way I would do that. But I didn't live their life. I didn't go through their hurts and their pains to know how that would be. So, ladies, what do you think about that as far as compassion with people that you don't like?
I feel like that's so important because I feel like if you don't hold that compassion, that energy of that non-compassion like absorbs into your energy, right?
Yeah.
And you soak in that non-compassion. So if you could just, send them love and say, okay, gosh, like that's all I can do is send them love and send them light and just honor where they're. And then I like to use the color pink. And it's interesting that I chose to wear pink today on the Compassion Day, because I think if we like hone into that color pink, it can remind us of compassion not only for ourselves but for others as well. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Danny?
I think that as you said, we don't know the story of other people. What's making them be the way they are? It could be how they grew up. They could be in a lot of pain right now, physical pain, and that takes a lot out of somebody and doesn't. It's very,
It's hard to show up as your best self.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you don't know what their story is overall. And so showing compassion isn't about them. It's about you. What are you saying about you? How you act is what says about you and who you are and who you want to be in the world and how you want to show up. So that's how I see it. If there's someone I don't like, which it happens, someone who I just don't resonate with,
right?
That doesn't mean I'm going to change who I am. And it's come up before where I've questioned of, well, I'm just not going to say hi anymore. Well, that's not who I am. And it hurt me, really did hurt me to not say hi because that's not who I was. It didn't feel good. And so how I show up says who I am. And it shouldn't matter what's going on with that person because that's their story, their life. We don't know, and it's none of our business. So as long as we are wanting to be a compassionate person to ourselves and then to others, that's how we show up with everybody.
Yeah, I love that. And Nikki, I think you already kind of covered how handling the compassion. My next question, and you cannot say Sunny because I think we would all say Sunny. Who is the most compassionate person you know, and why do you feel that way about them? And it could be somebody even famous too. It doesn't have to be somebody you personally know, but who is somebody that shows up as compassion to you, and why do you see that in them?
I'm going to say my son. Like, he just automatic. Doesn't even, and he's 17 and he's always been that way. He's always been there to help his friends. And it's just automatic with him. It's like not even a question. It's not even a come up to me, hey mom, what should I do? It's just automatic. And I learned from him just as much as he learns from me. I probably learned from him more. So that's who I know of in my life, who is just an automatically compassionate person.
I love that. Yay, son.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Makes me very proud. Michael.
Yay, Michael. Shauna, how about you?
Oh gosh, I have like three names that came to mind. So first, I would say you, Carol, because of just your work you do with your positive focus and the free hugs and that energy that you put out into the world for people to embrace not only themselves but others, right? And of course, Sunny, but another person that comes to mind is Dougal Frazier. So he's somebody that I did an intuitive color coaching program, and he just has just an energy that's contagious and bright and joyful, and he just embraces everybody. And then the last being that comes to mind is my dog Nugget, because she just is such a compassionate being. And what's cool about her is other dogs, when she's around them, she has a way to help them come out of their shell. It's just,
Aw.
it's such a cool thing. She's like the little ambassador for
That's cute.
Yeah.
How about you, Nikki?
I would say that the first two people who really showed me compassion and taught me about compassion are my two friends. I have two friends who saved my life back in 2011, and they taught me about compassion. And I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without them.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
What are your sons' names?
My,
What are your sons' names?
it's my, I said my two friends.
Two friends. Okay.
Yeah, my
What
two
are their
friends.
names?
It's Pat and Jody.
Well, thank you to them because we're glad that you're with us. So
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful. For me, of course, Sunny, but I would say the Brian Stevenson that I talked about, and then he's no longer with us, but Mr. Rogers is one of my
Yeah.
who can I be today? And if I could be more like Mr. Rogers, then I'm a happy camper for that. So that is definitely so. Anne is joining us from Florida. Thank you, Anne. I bet your weather is hot. It is actually pretty warm here in Michigan for this time of year. So let's talk about Kuan Yin and the multi-dimensional cards. I believe that I am the only one in this group that actually had this card chosen. So for me, that's what I do. My work is helping people focus on love, kindness, compassion, and peace, and to be that person that I want to see out in the world, because it is easy to get into negative judgment or condemnation of when things are going the way that we don't want to. And I'm a firm believer in what I focus on, I give energy to grow. So even it's been a daily practice for years for me on love, kindness, compassion, and peace. Doesn't mean fear doesn't visit me. Doesn't mean anger doesn't visit me. I'm not a yeller, so my anger is more subtle and in thought of how dare you more than vocalizing it. But I have tools to keep me from staying in that space. I'm a firm believer you need to feel your feels and then move forward to feel a little bit better. So it did not surprise me. I don't have the cards. There's 44 cards, I believe. And I've seen them all, and I wanted the elephant because I love elephants, but it did not surprise me that Sunny came up with this card for me. So I'm curious to what cards she did draw for you, and what do you feel about it? How has it worked out for you? We'll start with you, Danny.
I got the yin yang card, which was interesting only because it's about balance. And I'm in a time and phase in my life where I'm learning to balance things. And when I saw the card, it was such a beautiful card. And I never really used to resonate with the yin. I don't know if it's yin yang or yin yang, but it just never called to me. But the way that the artist drew it, or you know, I don't say draw. She created it. Let's say that it really called to me because it was more in elemental type usage, like water, and there was some, flora in there. And so to me, it was like, oh, okay, that's softer than the black and white. It's a lot softer. It's about flow. It's about seeing in others parts of yourself. And so that's kind of what I got from it. So just really, and it really came into a good timing because of all of what we're experiencing now with, pandemic, social unrest, and such polarizing thoughts and ideas, is that there's pieces of yourself in everybody. And if you recognize that and embrace and celebrate the differences, rather than condemning it, we would be in a different place. We would have a lot more love and compassion
Yeah.
in the world. And so that's what I took from my my card that Sunny chose for me.
I love that. Shauna, what was your card?
My card was the tiger, and I'm glad that I got an animal card because I was hoping, I was like, okay, I was like, please let her pick an animal card. And at first I was thinking, I was like, why didn't I get the butterfly? Because I love butterflies. And but then when I really tuned into the tiger, I was reminded of that connection that I have to like that big cat energy, right? About the perseverance and the empowerment and the power and the strength and like, you know, honing your like inner roar and your inner empowerment and like embracing all of who I am and all I have to offer. So when I really tuned into that energy and I printed off like a picture of the tiger, you know how we changed our profile pictures, I just printed off that picture, you know, that says the multi-dimensional oracle on the bottom, and it reminded me like how, you know, multi-dimensional I am, but how that tiger energy, how I can use that to help empower myself. And it just really, I love it so much. I actually ordered and bought the print because I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta just be connected with that energy, that right? You too, right, Danny?
Yeah.
The colors were so vibrant and just it all really spoke to me, and it brought so much up for me that was just so amazing. So I'm really excited to get the whole card deck with all the cards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, me too, because even this one, it's just a printout. The cards are so much more vibrant and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the artist did an amazing job. And Nikki, how about you? What was your card?
I had the 444.
Okay.
And yeah, and the surprise was that Sunny doesn't know me. She doesn't know anything about me, like nothing from my story. Up till now, she doesn't know me. She knows nothing. And I had a blog in 2012, and my blogger name is Nikki44.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And the 4 was always my favorite number, and I always wanted 4 of anything. And whenever I'm writing, I keep drawing the number 4 in everything. And knowing that 4 means that the angels are around you meant a lot to me. I didn't know that before I see the card. I didn't know that. And I'm like studying the angels now, and I want to know more about them. And
Well, you're with the right person with Sunny to learn about the angels. So
yeah, and I mean the number 44 means a lot to me. I always believed I was going to die at the age of 44, and it sort of happened in a way. Like my life shifted completely at the age of 44. It's a complete turn. So it means a lot to me. But like you, I feel drawn to another card at the same time. But I love my card. Yeah.
well, and I want to say what Shauna said about the tiger being strong. Like again, compassion is one of my guiding principles. And when I saw this card, like Kuan Yin, it's like so soft. And so first I'm like, but compassion is so strong. And so it really is like, this isn't right for me. But the more I thought about it, it's like the strength is in the softness. And so it really took me to see it that way because I would not have pictured this. I mean, I don't really know a lot about Kuan Yin herself. So compassion was not pictured to me as this soft experience kind of thing. But that's really true. It's like your strength is your softness. Your strength is your kindness and your vulnerability and being able to stand in your own truth. And when Shauna had said something about loving people, I'm a big believer and I love everybody. Now, where choice comes in, like the conditions is in who I choose to participate with. I may be able to, and there are a couple of people, there aren't a lot, but there are a few people in my life that I can say in a loving space because they're not a part of my life. If we were together, we would be conflicting and I'd be writing those letters all day long. So sometimes the way to stay in love is to release them and it's good for them too. Like if if you have that kind of a combative relationship. Some relationships can be healed. Some relationships are here to help heal you or them or whatever. But I can still love people and have kindness and compassion and wish peace for people and choose not to have them in my daily life. So
True.
those are things for me. So ladies, we have I try to keep it to 30. Sometimes it's 45, sometimes it's an hour because I can be chatty. But is there anything that you want to make sure to get across about compassion or any message that you would like to leave people with? I'm going to put the link on how you can get these cards. I think they're going to be out in mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you order these cards, there's a part that you tell them how you heard about it. So, of course, you could say me, but if there's anything Nikki, Danny, or Shauna have said that has really touched your heart, I encourage you to put their names in for how you've learned about the cards. And I cannot wait to get my hands on them. Now, the interesting thing is because Sunny, if you're not familiar with her, she's all about teaching you how to use your own intuition. So the cards just say compassion, protection, mercy. Then you're to go inward to see how they resonate with you. I like them when they tell me what I'm supposed to be getting out of them more. So it has been a process for me to trust my own intuition a little bit more about it as well. But is there anything that you would like to share with the other ladies here on the panel or with those listening now or later?
I would just say that remember that, like, you know, compassion goes both ways, and it's really important for us to remember to have compassion for ourselves and compassion for others, that they really go hand in hand to really affect us and others around us, right? Because people can feel that and pick up on that. So a little bit of compassion just goes a long way. Be it, you know, you smile at yourself in the mirror, or you're walking by somebody and you smile. And even though, you know, like still there's people, you know, where we, you know, are wearing the mask and everything like that. But even if you smile through the mask, you can still see it in somebody. You can still see somebody smiling with their eyes. So to remember that, right? And that connection that we have not only with ourselves, but others that we impact, right? And just compassion is so huge with all of that.
I love that. It's a great reminder because, again, it's super easy to forget that we're part of that equation. You know, we're part of the kindness, we're part of compassion and love and peace. So when you can emulate it inward, then it's going to ripple out to others as well. How about you, Danny?
I'm actually going to piggyback off of what you were talking about with regards to Kuan Yin and thinking that it's soft and then you didn't feel the strength. And sometimes people can think that compassion is harsh word, but weak, you know, a weak thing to do. That you should be angry instead of loving or compassionate. And just like you said, no, there is strength in it, just like there's strength in vulnerability. It is not a weakness. It is not a weak act. In fact, it's probably stronger than any act is to be compassionate, even when the other person, you don't resonate with them, you don't like them, you don't care for them, care for what they do. You're still able to love them anyway, and that's stronger than anything. So please don't see compassion as a weakness. It is a strength.
It's an incredible strength, yeah. And again, for me, it's not accepting what they've done. Like there's still consequences to actions of kind of things, but I am not going to make the situation worse by condemning and blaming and shaming. I think it's super easy to go into blame, shame, and complain. And sometimes I can go into that for a moment, but it doesn't feel good. So I go back into stepping back into kindness and compassion. How about you, Nikki?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Danny.
I was just going to say, it's kind of like forgiveness. Providing compassion to others is for you.
Right.
I mean, when you're feeling nasty towards somebody, you feel nasty. You know, you get that negative vibe on you. But like forgiveness, it's not for that other person. Sure, your compassion could help them, but really giving them compassion is for you That's how you show up. And in showing compassion towards them, it could help somebody else, definitely. But really, it's having you be your fullest potential, your fullest vibration, your highest vibration. And in that, the people who are ready to receive that will be able to do better. So
Yeah, I love that. Nikki, how about you?
What I want to say is that we were always, I mean, I was, I cannot say we were because I was always taught that you treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mhm.
So, but I'm learning that it's not exactly this, or it's not only this, because I was treating people with so much compassion and so much love all the time, and I wasn't getting any of that. So I was always frustrated and feeling like a victim. Like, why people don't treat me with the love that I treat them with? Why they don't show me compassion like I do? And since January, when I started to love myself and forgive myself and have compassion for myself, people are treating me the same way.
Mhm.
So I would add to it, like starting with yourself, like you have to love the other and treat them with compassion and forgiveness. But you have to do it for yourself so that
Yeah. Nikki, do you know your love language?
what does that mean?
Okay, I will send you a link. I did a live on it like a week or so ago, but I can't think of his name right now, but there's a book, it's decades old, called Your Love Languages, and it's 5 different love languages. And it's words of affirmation, it's physical touch, it's acts of service, it's gifts, and what is the one I am quality time.
Mhm.
And we tend to give love the way we want to receive it. But like my example is, my top one is words of affirmation. My weak one is gifts. So until I knew this about myself, when people would give me gifts, and gifts can be a little trinket, doesn't have to be anything. Thank you, Gary Chapman. It doesn't have to be anything extensive, but when they give me a little trinket, before I'd be like, I don't have room. I would not say it to them, by the way. I'd like, thank you, that's so sweet. In my head, I'm saying, I don't need this. Why are you giving this to me? Like, I don't have room for it or whatever. But they were showing me love because that's their strength. That's their top thing. So they give gifts to show their love. So when you know your love language and the people who in your world, then you know that, like, my guess is yours probably is affirmations, words of affirmation. So if they're giving you quality time, it might be the way somebody shows you their love, or they're doing an acts of service, which could be, for you, Danny, your son taking out the trash when you normally do, or whatever. So it's helpful to know how you give love, because that tends to be the way you receive love too. So that's just something to think about. But I love that, Danny, and or Nikki, I'm so glad that you're now part of Sunny's community, and learning and loving and growing through the process. And I think for me, it really is about knowing that. I think Danny said it earlier, like, I work on, who do I want to be today? How do I want to show up today? And how can I make a positive impact on um, the way I want the world to be? Because if I go into blame, shame, and complain, I'm going to attract blame, shame, and complainers. And sometimes I catch myself. I'm not a big blamer, but I can be a complainer from time to time. Again, I'm not a always or never. I highly doubt. I shame very often, because that is a big one for me. But I certainly can easily go into complaining about something that I don't like, or I can go into complaining that I don't get enough sleep, which I do all the time. I gotta say, that's where I complain. I don't sleep well. I'm not a good sleeper. So I got some work to do there, but I really thank you guys for joining me on talking about compassion and Sunny's work. These cards are amazing. I've only seen pictures of them, and they're stunning. The decks can be pre-ordered and they'll be out, but they really are to help you guide you back to yourself and to get into your own intuition. So she's going to have some work around showing you how to use them specifically, but it's like just like I do on Sundays in my Embrace Your Life community. I pull cards for people. They'll tell me they want a card from deck 1 through 4, and it's to give them guidance for the week. So this deck is really to help you guide you back inward and help you move through your day with a little bit more kindness, a little bit more compassion, a little bit more love, and a little bit more peace. So I'm excited about them, and there's few people in this world that I hold in higher esteem. I don't know if there's anybody I hold in higher esteem than I do Sunny. She's up there for me. But do what you can from where you are to have a little bit more compassion for yourself. Find a little compassion for others around you. Does not mean you have to accept their actions and their behaviors, but it does mean showing up on who you want to be today. So thank you for joining me on this Saturday. I will be back Tuesday, Monday in my Embrace Your Life community. Not sure what I'll be talking about Tuesday, but it'll be something to help you heighten your celebrations and lessen your sorrows through a positive focus. So go out there wherever you are in this big, beautiful, and messy world. Enjoy your day. Remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So we'll talk again soon. So long for now.
Bye.